What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we've got a Total War Warhammer 2 Mortal Empires 2 versus 2 custom battle for you. So the teams are all set. We've got the dwarves and the Skaven, and we are facing off against the Greenskins and the vampires. So I am leading the Dwarven army, and I am taking Grombrindal, and my good buddy Bart Fitzgerald is taking the Warlord and the Skaven army. Up against us are Dahvplays, and so Dahvplays is using the Greenskins with Azag the Slaughter, and we have Sniper Cat, who's using the vampires. All right, so as you can see, me and Bart have set up our armies kind of all put together here with the dwarves and the Skaven. I'm not really sure what to call it. I guess it's an under Empire alliance. Who knows for what reason? And this is we've got a lot of stuff going on here. So if you look here, we do have a couple of groups of Thunderers up front for that armor piercing fire. We do have these 3 groups of Ironbreakers. So those typically we don't have that many, but we do have 3 groups. So those are those elite Ironbreakers, those Dwarven infantry. They've got the satchel charges. Those guys are ready to blast. All right, besides that, we've got Grombrindal. We've got a Thane, of course, and that is always included now with any Dwarven army is this Thane, because we have the Tormentor Sword. And that gives you that ability to, for 20 seconds, to make it so nobody can move, and they have minus attack. So although it has a 1.5-minute cooldown, it's actually really useful. Besides that, we do have this Master Rune of Stromny, which gives attack and leadership to all the units around. And if you look, that's actually a really big aura, so he does a pretty good buff. And besides that, Tormentor Sword. Here in the back, you'll see I've got we've got an organ gun there and 2 cannons. So we've got 2 regular cannons, and in our organ gun, which is actually pretty buff nowadays, does have 2 silver chevrons in it, so 5 total chevrons, and it is going to be blasting. Here in the back, you'll see we have 2 groups of Slayers, and so if you use the Tormentor Sword to kind of stop something, those Slayers can get in there and just take it out. For Bart's army, for the Skaven, he does have a couple of groups of Stormvermin. He's got this one group over here with Halberds, and over here he's got a second group with Halberds. Besides that, he's got some clan rats with spears up here, spears and shields. He's also got some Stormvermin with sword and shields here. So he's got a big army of Stormvermin. Just a ton of that heavy elite Skaven infantry. So not as many numbers as you would typically see. Besides that, he does have this group of rat ogres right here, which will bring that 83 armor piercing weapon strength and frenzy. So they do good work. Besides that, here in the back, you'll see he's got some poison wind globideers, and I like to zoom in on these guys just because they're so cool. Those steampunk guys, those little globes, they're ready to cause some havoc. He's also got a warlock engineer. If we get in here, you see he does have that warp shard armor, so he is kind of working like a Mortis engine. He is going to do damage. Look at the AoE. He'll be stripping health points off of any units around him in that AoE right there. Besides that, he's got some death frenzy, he's got skitter leap, so he's ready to get in there and put in some work. We've also got the warlord over there, and I think that's just about it for this Skaven army. Over here for our opponent, so the vampire army is actually rather small. But if you look here, he does have the red duke, so he's got the red duke. He's got him up there. There he is on top. He's got him on top of that dragon. Besides that, he does have a Vargulf. He's got a Mortis engine here to strip health. He's also got just a front line of regular skeleton warriors, and actually he's got a couple of one or two chevrons there. And besides that, he does have some of those poison armor piercing crypt horrors. They've got regeneration, and those guys should do pretty well. You know, to cut through some of those dwarven units. The skeleton warriors kind of won't be able to do much, and this Vargulf, if he keeps him moving, he should be able to do a lot of damage. So I know there's a little bit more to the vampire army, and I'm not sure where they went. Oh, there they are. So this is where he spent a lot of that money. He does have a necromancer as well as 2 groups of blood knights. So those blood knights are pretty expensive, and he does have a chevron. So he's spent a lot on those blood knights, and you know, for good reason. They got 110 armor, and at large, those guys will do some major damage. Here for the Greenskins, Dahv has brought some night goblins, And if you look, I'm not sure which, it looks like that has special ranged weapon, poison attacks. So I think that's the Warlord's Boys. Besides that, he's just got some regular night goblins here. He does have this group of nasty skulkers. He's also got another group of nasty skulkers over here, and just some more night. Oh, there's the Warlord's Boys. So the other one must be oh man, I can't remember the name. How did I forget? Oh man, I'm not gonna live this one down. Okay, so we've also got the Rusty Arrows. We've got the Night Goblin Archers here, and the AP Loonies. All right, so we've got the Hammer of Gork. We've got 2 more Goblin Rock Lobbers. So he's got 3 pieces of artillery back here, and he does have just some regular goblins there, and they got a couple of chevrons in them, just to kind of guard these 3 rock lobbers. So that's about it. I think that's all. Over here on the side, oh no, he does have the Durkit Squigs. And a couple of other units. So he does have these Durkit Squigs over here, as well as a regular group of Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. And you don't see these very often, but they are pretty cool. These regiments are now have poison attacks. They've got armor piercing, and they can actually do some pretty good work against the dwarves. He's also got a couple of rarely seen Teeth Robbers. So look at those. Those are those Goblin Wolf Chariots, and he has a second Goblin Wolf Chariot mixed in there. So he's really got all sorts of just mobile units. He's got the Mogrub's Mangy Marauders here. And I think that's about it, besides Azeg the Slaughterer, who's up here. And he does have a good number of spells. Wog, he's got Foe Seeker, Purple Sun of Xerxes. So he'll be trying to do some good damage from up there on top. All right, sorry for that long-winded introduction. Let's go ahead and get right into this so before we take any longer. So right off the bat, you're gonna see these look at those shots. Oh man, this organ gun is in range, and these cannons are in range, and they're taking some shots at Azeg. So we wanted to kind of get him moving or try to hit him before he started moving. And now that he's going though, I don't know that we're gonna be able to hit him too easily. So he's moving sideways there. He's already about half health though, and so that's going to cause a bit of a problem for Dahv over there right off the bat. You'll see these Goblin Wolf Chariots kind of come in here, but we are going to pull the Thunderers right there, and now we're going to saturate them with these Clan Rats with spears. So they're going to have a lot harder time fighting just the Thunderers over there, and I think that we should be able to defend those Thunderers pretty well. Over here on the right, you'll see that this oh man, this warp lightning cannon is just blasting this mortis engine. Look at that. You see that hit it again? It is already down to half health. So our decision to bring this artillery is actually really starting to help us. Look at those satchel charges. So we've also got some satchel charges smashing in that Goblin Wolf Chariot, and it is already broken. Oh man, there's that Purple Sun of Xerxes being dropped though. So it doesn't look like it's going to do as much damage as you would think. If we take a look over from the top, you'll see over here on the right that the mortis engine is already being knocked off. We've got the vampire counts moving in here from the right, and we do have some units already pretty damaged there. If you look, the Teeth Robbers and the Goblin Wolf Chariot are already pretty damaged there on the left. But we do have to be careful because a lot of these Blood Knights are going to come around, and if they get here into this back line of artillery, we're going to have some major trouble. Here in the front, you'll see we are just starting to engage. The Warlord's Boys are getting in there. But look at this. I mean, the Night Goblins, the Warlord's Boys, these guys are already damaged before they've even gotten into the fight. Over here on the left, you'll see that the Necromancer and these Blood Knights have already taken damage as well. And if we can get these Slayers into them, those Blood Knights will go taken down really easily. These Slayers are just made. Look at that. We've already got them down to half health. These Slayers got right into the side of those Blood Knights. Over here on the right, where the vampires are fighting, you'll see that he has got this Varkolf and the Red Duke who have come in here in the back, but we've got the Rat Ogres and we've got some Stormvermin all up in the back here. So besides that, we've got those Poison Wind Globadiers shooting from the middle, and they're really going to do some major damage to anything. I mean, he's got it saturated. These Rat Ogres are in here, and that Varkolf is already starting to lose its leadership. Look at those heavy hits coming from the Red Duke up there. But, I mean, there's a lot of leadership problems already going on over here on the right for the vampires. I mean, losing this Mortis Ancient so early, they've taken some hits. I mean, a lot of that was just skeleton warriors. Here in the back, you'll see that we have already killed one group of Blood Knights. So these Slayers really did their work. They've got 24 kills now, and they have already got a Chevron just from that. There is just a crazy amount of stuff going on here. You see here in the back, these rock lobbers, they're really not being as effective as they could be. And I think if they were just, I mean, this is just a huge amount of money being tied up here in the back that's really not being effective at the moment. Over here on the left, you'll see those Goblin Wolf Rider archers. I mean, those guys are still shooting in. They're trying to get some shots at these Rat Ogres, as are the Mogrub's Mangy Marauders. But we've got this huge front line battle that's just really going pretty well for us. We've still got our 2 cannons in the back. And you see this Necromancer? He's been fighting these Stormvermin with halberds for quite a while. And they're actually starting to take him down. Unfortunately for us, he has got Mogrubs right here into these cannons, and I think he's really going to do some good work. Here in the front, you'll see this Vargulf is getting taken down pretty easily. But, you know, since our Ironbreakers are, I mean, look at these 3 groups of Ironbreakers. They're just so hard to take down that the Vargulf will stay out here and he'll take some damage and he'll get taken down by Grombrindal or something like that before too long. Oh, let's go ahead and get a look up close at there. We do have the Red Duke in here and he's fighting Grombrindal. So Grombrindal will actually mess up the Red Duke pretty well. You see the Red Duke he's got all of his buffs popped. He's got Charmed Shield going, Sword of Anti-Heroes. He's going to try to do whatever he can to take out Grombrindal. But Grombrindal also has, I mean, he's also got El Sif on him. So it looks like he is actually going to break him. Here right next to him, though, is that Warlord. And so the Red Duke has taken some good damage. Additionally, I'm starting to try to aim the organ gun, which is actually back online, and it's already got 171 kills. I'm trying to aim it back at that Red Duke. So we've really got these cannons online. You see this group is also pointing at the Red Duke, and he's going to start taking some heavy hits if he doesn't start moving up there out of the air. Oh man, look at this. The Rusty Arrows have 61 kills. They have just been shooting in this whole time. We have not really been able to... Oh, look at that Warp Lightning Cannon. We have not been able to get anything into their back line, but now our artillery is still firing. So the fact that we were able to protect that back line is really helping us out. You see he's got Charmed Shield there on the Red Duke, who's got 300 health left. But I mean, we've got a ton of artillery, even though we've pretty much been shooting this whole time. The cannon ends up, look at that, dropping the Red Duke, and the Vargulf goes down there as well. Here in the back, you see the Rusty Arrows and these Night Goblin Archers are also going to start breaking. I mean, the Rusty Arrows are pretty much out of ammo. They've definitely paid for themselves, but now that we've gotten all of our artillery back online, we're really going to be just blasting. Here in the front line, you'll also see that these Ironbreakers and Slayers have actually finally started to rout off those Night Goblins and Nasty Skulkers. I mean, look at the big pile of bodies here. And we decided to kind of use those last little bit of charges that we had remaining on those Ironbreakers. And they've come in there, and it actually, I think, did more damage to our team than the enemy. But those Night Goblins, they've got 44 kills, but they're dying now too. Look at that. You can see a couple of those Fanatics coming in here, swinging those. Oh, they're knocking down some dwarves, but that might be a little bit too late. I mean, this was just a crazy game. It was really hard to keep track of what everything was going on. I hope you guys can probably slow it down and see a little bit more of what was happening. I mean, we were able to kind of grab up those, you can see kind of here at the end, you see, look at all those dead horses there that we were able to catch with that Tormentor sword and kill with the Slayers, which we had held in the back. You can see just a huge amount of dead bodies here in the middle where those Ironbreakers made their stand, and those Stormvermin were kind of mixed in there. Look at all those Stormvermin and those dwarf bodies as we pushed them slowly back and grinded them. It was just awesome. I mean, it's so cool how I mean, look at those different circles around the artillery where they made their attempts to kill, and the Rat Ogres held off. And I mean, it was just, I mean, that was just a great game. So let's go ahead and take a look at this post-battle wrap up. So if you look here, for my army, I was able to get 159 kills with one group of Slayers. So they were like the MVPs, although we did get 138 with this group of Ironbreakers. You know, I really think these Slayers, for their cost, they were just massive help on our side. The fact that we were able to kind of use that Thane to buff units up and to give extra melee attack, plus to use that Tormentor sword to stop units there in the back, that was really helpful. And these Ironbreakers, I mean, look at that. They were able to hold. They held strong. They did their best. And they gave us just a hammer, just an anvil on the front line to smash against. The Thunderers, I kind of let them get overwhelmed. I took a lot of shots at like the big units. So I took a lot of shots with the Thunderers, at the Vargulf, at the Red Duke, at whatever I really could that was flying, at Azag. I was just taking a ton of shots with those Thunderers, but I think I ended up losing them pretty early and getting them routed off. Here in the back, and I mean, I didn't have a lot of units, so those cannons really had to do well, and we were able to use them to kind of blast down Azag right in the beginning, and I think they actually ended up taking down the Red Duke. We had them pointing at Mortis engines and Vargulfs. We had them shooting at Blood Knights. I mean, those cannons and that organ gun, they were just massive. So the organ gun with 270 kills, it was just, I mean, it was pretty cool. It gained its 6th chevron. But I mean, that Napoleon build with all that gunpowder was a blast. For Bart's army, you see 60 kills with the Warlord. He was able to get a ton of kills spread across all these Stormvermin. It's like 200 kills with Stormvermin. The Warp Lightning Cannon, look at that with 2 chevrons. I mean, it blasted that Mortis engine down before the Mortis engine could do anything. I mean, that was just a huge cost for Sniper Cat. It was just kind of wasted. And besides that, he got shots off it. All the big units. I mean, that Warp Lightning Cannon was still firing there at the end. You saw it just nailing left and right, whatever it could. The Rat Ogres were able to, defend our artillery. So were the Poison Wind Globadiers. I mean, it was just great all around. I mean, there was just awesome play. Having these Stormvermin all mixed in there was just, it just helped our front line just to last long enough for us to get in there and just decapitate their leadership. Over here for Sniper Cat with the Vampires, you see 290 kills with the Red Duke. I mean, that, and you realize that is not like, there's not a lot of clan rats that he was killing. That was just major units. He was just doing tons of work with the Red Duke. 290 kills against the armies that we brought. I mean, that was just, it was pretty amazing performance. We were having the hardest time killing him, even though we had all those units that could shoot him down. He was also able to do okay. He was, healing a lot with the Necromancer, and he casted a lot of invocations, so that was all right. His Skeleton Warriors, some of them did okay. They went down pretty quickly, and the Blood Knights, I was able to catch them in the back, and so this unit actually went down all the way. He was able to get one of them away, and that unit actually performed pretty well. So had we not caught this unit, they definitely could have ran amok in the back line and done a lot more work. You see the Cryptoris 27, got 20 with the Vargulf, and I think the problem was just that he was over on the right side. He really did have a hard time. He got split up, and we were able to just kind of blast him down pretty early. Dahvplays, on the other hand, he was shooting with those rock lobbers for the a good portion of the match, but it just didn't pull out as many kills as he probably would have liked. I think he had to keep him in the back there so they wouldn't get nailed by our artillery, and so he was kind of limited in his number of targets he was able to pick, especially to keep from hitting his own units there, as they fought against ours. You see here his Night Goblins, the 8th Peak Loonies and the Warlord's boys. I'm lucky if I ever forget that again, I'll be surprised. But 51 kills with the 8th Peak Loonies. They made me remember their names. We got 26 with Mogrubs, 22 here with the Teeth Robbers, and the real stars of the shows were those Rusty Arrows. I mean, they were blasting them and the Night Goblin Archers there. They did some good work. Overall, just did not quite get enough kills. I took 300 losses. We had 224 remaining. The Vampires never have any remaining, but Dahv actually still had 730 units. So I think if he had brought maybe a Goblin Big Boss or something to give a little bit more you know, leadership to his units that could have helped. But overall, it was just a fun game. We were playing a best of 3, and Dahv and Sniper Cat, I think, won the other 2, so they ended up victorious. But this was just a great game. We had some fun with artillery, so I wanted to show it to you guys. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. Please subscribe below for more great online content. This is Black Iron, and this has been another one of Black Iron's Battles.